All right, today we are jumping into one of the most powerful and, honestly, one of the most straightforward tools you can have in your data toolkit, simple linear regression. We're going to break down exactly how you can use this thing to turn what looks like a mess of data into some really clear, confident business decisions. You ready? Let's get into it. I know. It sounds a little too simple, right? The idea that a basic straight line could actually hold the key to forecasting your company's future. But you got to stick with me here, because that is exactly what we are going to unpack today.
Okay, so first things first, we have to get our heads around the main idea. How in the world do we find a real, meaningful pattern, that straight line, in what usually just looks like a random cloud of dots on a chart?
Look, at its heart, simple linear regression is really about just one thing. It's about finding the single best straight line that slices right through your data. So you've got one variable you can control or measure, maybe something like ad clicks, and then you have another one you really want to predict, like say your sales. Regression's job is to draw the most accurate line possible, connecting those two things. And believe me, this isn't just for business meetings. This idea is absolutely everywhere. Yeah, it's used to figure out the link between ad clicks and sales for sure, but it's also used to study the relationship between how much someone earns and how happy they are, or even the wild connection between a state's latitude, how far it is from the equator, and its rate of skin cancer. It is a universal tool for finding hidden connections. Now let's take this out of the world of theory and bring it right into the boardroom. How are smart companies actually using this simple line to kind of peek into the future and make way better decisions? Right now. So we're going to zero in on a classic, super critical business question. We're spending money on online ads. Those ads get clicks. The big goal here is to figure out, can we use the number of clicks we get to reliably, and I mean reliably, predict our sales?
And why does this matter so much? Well, because if you can crack this, you can forecast your sales with way more accuracy. You can finally put a hard number on the impact your marketing team is having. You can start optimizing where every single ad dollar goes, and you can put your resources where they're going to make the absolute biggest splash. It's all about moving from just guessing to having a real data-driven strategy.
So you run a regression, and the computer spits out a bunch of numbers. And yeah, it can look pretty intimidating. But honestly, you really only need to ask 3 key questions to understand the story your data is trying to tell you. The very first question is, how strong is this connection, really? And that's exactly what R-squared tells us. You can think of it as your goodness of fit score. It basically tells you what percentage of the changes in your sales can be chalked up to the changes in your ad clicks. So let's just imagine our R-squared comes back as 0.65. This tells us something incredibly powerful. It means that 65% of all the ups and downs in our sales can be explained by the number of ad clicks we got. So what about the other 35%? Well, that's just other stuff. You know, things we can't control, like the economy, what our competitors are doing, but the main thing is we've accounted for the majority of it. Okay, so the relationship is pretty solid. That brings us to our second big question. What is the actual impact here? This is where the slope comes in. And folks, this is the golden number. This tells you exactly how much your sales change on average for every single additional ad click you get.
And in our example, that magic number is $4.
This number right here, this is your return on investment, spelled out in black and white. Here's the crucial part. For every single extra click we manage to get, we can expect, on average, $4 more in sales. You can literally take that number to your boss. It's real, it's actionable, and it is incredibly powerful. But hang on a second. Before we run off and change our entire marketing budget based on that $4 number, we have to ask our third and maybe most important question. Can we actually trust this? Is this relationship for real, or did we just get lucky with our data this one time?
This is where something called the p-value comes into play. The easiest way to think about it is like a statistical lie detector. It runs a test on your result and tells you the odds that he would find a connection this strong just by pure random luck.
Now, the simple rule of thumb in most fields is 0.05. If your p-value is less than 0.05, it means there's less than a 5% probability that your result is a total fluke. So you can say the relationship is statistically significant and you can trust it. But if it's higher than that, you got to be careful. Your finding might just be random noise in the data. So there you have it. We've literally gone from a cloud of random dots to a seriously powerful business insight. And the best part is, it all boils down to a simple, repeatable plan that you can use over and over again. So here it is, your framework to remember. It's just 3 steps. First, you measure the relationship using regression. Second, you quantify its real-world strength with R-squared and its impact with the slope. And finally, the all-important last step, you validate your finding with the p-value to make sure it's the real deal. And that's really it. You now have the complete framework to go out and find the hidden stories living inside your own data. So, the real question I want to leave you with is this. What hidden relationship, what straight line is just waiting to be discovered in your numbers? And what incredible decisions could it help you make?